All right, we are here on the Gains by Pat podcast today with one of my friends on social media that we've never had an official conversation, but we are homies, the one and only Tasty Shreds, Kyle Smith. How we doing today, brother man?
What is good? So good to be on this show with Gains by Pat, the most happy, positive, always smiling fitness influencer in the business. Every time I see anything you do, if I'm having a rough day, my day just seems to magically just turn around. So appreciate you, man.
I'm happy to hear that. You as well. Down 78 big boy pounds. The amount of times that I like it, like when I hear that, it like makes me feel some type of way in the best way possible. So I likewise, honestly. And then I'm always like hungry after I watch one of your videos. But uh, so yeah, so Kyle, he runs Tasty Shreds. It's a Instagram page, on TikTok, on a lot of different social medias. Makes a lot of amazing lower calorie, higher protein meals that are exquisite, to put it. That's an understatement, but they're great. Yep. And and so he's also had a hell of a fitness transformation journey himself. And helps a lot of people with their goals as well. So really excited to have him on, and yeah, want to chop it up about just your background, how you got into making videos, how you balance out being a dad, husband, and yeah, lots of different stuff. So first things first, how would you describe your social media page and just you? Like, tell us a little bit about you. Tell me a little bit about you.
Yeah, for sure, man. And again, man, thanks for having me on. This is awesome. I've always wanted to meet you, so this is great.
For sure.
Um, yeah. So as far as like how I describe my page, it would be just if you're out there and you're wanting to lose weight, cut a little bit of fat, my page helps people to do that in a way where they don't lose out on the tastiness of food. Because for me, as a foodie and a food addict, I always like try to fight against the grain when it came to weight loss. And that's why it never happened for me. So for me, I'd be like, okay, I can't have cheeseburgers. So instead, I got to have like some salads, just something that isn't as appetizing. If they get salads, you can still make salads taste amazing, right?
Right.
But I would always go on these like all or nothing diet plans where I'd cut out all the flavor that would go into food. All the and life is about flavor. And so for me, like try to cut out all this stuff and just have this really boring kind of chicken and vegetable diet, just never worked for me. And so what I decided to do instead of fight against my desires to have good food, why don't we just like, man, keep your enemies closer, right? Keep your friends close, keep your enemies closer. My enemy was food. So instead I made friends with it, right? And made it work for me. So just swapping out some of the, different ingredients in a meal can make the calories go lower and make the protein go higher. So anyone who's a foodie who likes good tasting food that wants to lose weight, and you're just an average person, just a mediocre homie or girl or whoever, that's what my page is all about.
Mediocre homie. That's funny.
Can a girl be a homie? I guess a girl could be a homie. I said homie, and I felt like I excluded an entire, gender. My bad.
I call some of my women friends homies and homettes.
Oh, Mets. I'm sure they appreciate that. Just
Yeah,
just give me the old simple homie. So
yeah,
yeah.
homie works. Yeah, homie works. But no, and I think that's what's great about your videos and your page as well, is like it's foods that taste really good. And like you can tell, like the flavor, like literally you can see in the video, like that
Mhm.
sense, like just looking at it, you can tell that it's like tastes amazing. And I'm a foodie as well. Like literally, that's kind of why I started making content on my page like that, about like working in fun foods that you enjoy while still making progress. But I think a
Right.
big part of that too is understanding, like you said, like certain foods are going to be higher calorie, and in order to actually like lose fat, you need to get enough protein in. And I think you do a great job of obviously like making meals that are based around that. And so it makes it so it's not an all or nothing thing, because I think a lot of people are on that same boat where we've grown up hearing from news and magazines where it's like you have to, just like you said, like have like chicken broccoli salads all the time in order to make progress, and that's just like a horrible existence in my opinion. Only
Yeah.
that.
Yeah, it's rough. It's rough. And the journey, it goes back to basically like late December of like 2020. A little bit of my background, I worked for the sheriff department out here where I live in Idaho. And I was there for about a year. And after a year, we have to go to like what's like police academy. It's called post academy. So I went to post academy and I was like the president of my class. just based on like my personality and just having fun and making sure the group always enjoy themselves. And I could always convince the teachers for us to play water polo instead of working out and going on runs. So I think they picked me because of that. I would just influence stuff. Like I would get there early. Instead of swimming laps, I'd put all the water polo nets out like ahead of time. And I'd be like, and I'd tell like one teacher, I'd be like, yo, I think Mrs. Whoever like wanted us to do water polo today. And she's like, oh, okay, that's cool. And the other teacher would get there. She's like, hey, I thought we were swimming laps. And he's like, well, the water polo stuff's already out. So we just play water polo like every day instead of working out. So my class is like, all right, dude, this guy's influential. Let's pick him, you know? And at the end of my class, like 6 weeks, I got to like, I was like the heaviest weight I ever was. I was like my 270s of just eating a ton of food, like, you know, walking when people should be jogging. Like I was just lazy. And and it was a Zoom graduation. And so at the Zoom graduation, everybody's watching my video of me doing my speech at home, and the cameras were like the elevated camera.
Yeah.
And so every time I looked down at my paper to say whatever, like and it looked like an additional chin would just develop, you know, just as I'm speaking. And my brother, who is just a loving, awesome brother, put in a group chat with the family, congratulations, man. You killed it on that speech, but he specifically screenshotted portions of the video where I looked the fattest. Like he was just totally fat shaming me, man. I love him to death, but he did that, and I was just so like I was so elated that I graduated and I was president. But then I was like just brought down to this level of like, man, you're right, dude. I'm still like not healthy, and I've been like overweight for like 10, 12 years. And I just, after seeing that, I feel like it was like the final, like, you know, I want to do it for my family. I want to do it for my wife. I want to live a long life and be healthy. But I feel like that moment for me, there's something about it that was just like set a fire where I'm like, my brother's a jerk. I love him to death, but I'm going to fix this. Like, this needs to be fixed. I'm 30, well, I was 33 when I started. And I literally went home and Googled like how to lose weight and make food taste good still, like something like that, like how to lose weight and how it not suck, you know,
Right.
easiest ways possible. And I went on YouTube and I discovered, honestly, I discovered Remington James.
Yeah.
He
Yeah.
was the first guy that I ever saw on YouTube making like a cheeseburger and being like, you can eat bread. I'm like, what? Like I always like I didn't know anything about dieting. I always thought you had to be like in ketosis to lose weight. I was, you know, all the things that people still believe because they just don't know, and I just didn't know.
Yeah.
And so I just started making foods, you know, similar to his, and making my own stuff too. Just going, okay, a calorie goal and you know, calorie limit, a protein goal, and just focus on those two things. And so I started doing that. And that was like late December 2020 when like the weight loss journey started. That's when I was at my 278.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn. So one, I love that you're a man of the people. Shout out to you for playing water polo instead of swimming laps. I'm sure everyone appreciates that. I can tell, yeah, just by like your demeanor and everything, that would be fun as hell to be around you in that setting too. And as far as your brother and kind of that situation, I think it takes that sometimes, man. Like it takes someone to like have a little slight loving dig at you, and like
Yeah.
you kind of get to that point. Like I remember for me, I was in college, I was like 230 and I'm like 5'8". So like 230 is like I was big at that point in time. And I was like trying to put on muscle, but like I was just eating and like drinking all the time. And so my roommate in college at the time, I was like, bro, like I'm getting big, I'm getting swole. And he was like, you're getting a little thick, my guy, like a little chunky. I don't know. And I was like, damn. I was like, then I looked in the mirror, I was like, actually, shit, he's right. So then it like got me like being like, all right, I need to like focus on losing fat now, like kind of transition. But sometimes it takes that, man. It takes someone that's,
Yeah.
you know, obviously in your corner and like wants you to, you know, succeed and be the best version of you to say something like that. And then how did you determine that you were just going to focus on calories and protein as well? Because I think a lot of times people do think even if they want to like make progress, lose weight, lose fat, they're like, I got to cut out something. I got to do whatever. Was it seeing like the Remington James videos, or was it like
Yeah.
more research?
You know, it was honestly just his videos. I bet everything on seeing this guy with a six pack. Like I'm the perfect sucker for an infomercial because I just saw this stuff and was like, all right, like anything that came up to me in the past and people are like, it works, man. Try these Herbalife pills. You'll lose weight taking pills.
Oh,
Like I would just believe them, dude. I'm so gullible. So like my gullibility finally paid off when I went like, I'm going all in on this stuff. And I
yeah,
just went out and got some like lavish bread and started making my own little low calorie pizza. It's just kind of like figuring stuff out. Like, okay, how do I hit this protein goal and keep it low calorie? I guess I got to go like lower fat and I started like discovering the world of like fat-free cheese and like,
Yeah.
made out of plastic or whatever that stuff. We don't even know what that stuff is. I started figuring out all this stuff. And I remember making it and showing my wife, like I was eating these little pizzas and these like double cheeseburgers, and she's like, you're not going to lose weight like that. Like, that's not going to happen. That's just not like, good luck, but I just kept like pushing forward. And I think for like the first 2 weeks, I didn't lose like a pound. I was just like, I don't know, my body's just like, stay fat. Like, I don't know how it works. I'm not a scientist or whatever. And
Right.
so literally, but like after 2 weeks, dude, like I got on the scale and I was like 5 pounds down one day. So I was probably losing weight along the way, but just weighing myself at the wrong times of the day or whatever. But all
Yeah.
of a sudden, I'm like, boom, I'm like 5 pounds down. All right, let's keep this going. And at the sheriff department, you got to work in the jail, like the county jail. The first 2 years are there.
Oh shit.
So all day you're doing like I work 12-hour shifts doing like security check walks. So I would just make sure like, hey, I tell my partner like, hey, don't worry about it. I'll do the walk. I'll do the walk. Like I would just like keep it going up the stairs, down the stairs, do some extra walks. Inmates are probably annoyed, like, dude, stay out of here so we can like get our betting on, dude. Like we're trying to make money out here and you keep coming in. But I attribute that to getting like my 10 to 15,000 steps in a day too. I was just walking like a mother.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes sense, dude. That job sounds. Was it intense? Like, is it there? And do you still do that?
No, no, I don't do that. So,
Okay.
yeah, it's wild, man. It's wild. You know, um, I remember just like going in my first day. Well, your first day working there, you wear like a suit, and you have like classes like at the department. And then you go on a tour and they're like, I'm gonna take you on a tour, and like if you're working like anywhere else, you'd like, let me take you a tour through the office, and here's the CEO's office, and here's the break room. It's like, hey, we're gonna go see where people get locked up. Like it's a very weird experience because I just gone to the zoo like a week before and I saw like let's just be honest, I saw like these animals locked up and it was sad. I felt bad for them. I saw these primates like chimps and stuff all locked up in these
Right.
little like cubicles and they just were swinging on these fake trees. I'm like, dude, they look so sad. If they got out, they'd rip off every one of my fingers, and not even feel bad about it. And
Yeah.
so then I'm like walking into like this gel area and there's this like it's one-sided glass. So I'm in this like dark kind of opposite area, and then like in every direction I'm seeing like these different I guess they call them like cell blocks, right? These different units.
Yeah.
And I'm looking in, and there's like people like working out, their shirts are off, and their faces are fully tattooed, and they just look like hardcore, doing
Yeah.
like burpees and just super fit. And like I look at like all the deputies around me that worked there for a while, and everybody's just overweight and old. I'm like, dude, we're gonna lose this fight.
Yeah. For real. Yeah, that's real
I'm
shit
like,
though.
I look at myself. I'm like, dude, I don't look hard at all, dude. No one's gonna care what I do. Oh no.
Yeah,
And
that's
but
tough.
I just so there was just that feeling of like, oh my gosh. And then like after like 6 weeks of training, you get like a uniform and you get your badge and you get your gun. But when you're in the jail, you gotta put that gun in your locker. You can't bring that into a cell, what I mean? Like
Right.
or like a cell block or a unit. I mean, to tackle you and take it from you,
Yeah. Yeah, shit the
So
off.
which that happens sometimes. Deputies just forget it's on them. They just walk into a unit. It's like, dude, your
Yo.
gun's on you. Put it back, idiot.
Yeah, for
It
real. Yeah,
just happened.
very easily. Like you said, you get like tackled, someone take it, and then like just
Yeah,
game over. It's
not
just
good.
popping. Yeah, it's not a good
Yeah.
situation.
So I remember like my first day, I walked into this unit. It was a unit that was like basically it was like a big outdoor circus tent that was like separate from the main jail. It was like minimum security. And then
Yeah.
they kind of fortified the walls. It's like it looked like a little mini like football arena. It was all concrete with
Wow.
showers and like all open room, metal bunks, just huge rows. I think like 120 was like the max amount of people in this room.
Wow.
And my first shift, you go out there and there's three of us. There's three of us and there's 120, right? And they didn't give us tasers. All we had was just like a little bit of pepper spray. But like, if you use pepper spray, the culture in that department was like, you're a wuss, dude. You're going to get us all messed up. And then
Right.
we're going to have to change everybody's blankets out. Like, you just don't pull that out ever. You just don't. You just
Yeah.
die instead. You just die. So I remember like walking through and I was like in training. I'm like, oh my gosh. And everybody's looking at me and like, yelling at me and saying things, like Paul Blart. I think I had a mustache. I was just fat with a mustache. Someone was like, that dude looked like Paul Blart. And I'm like,
Yo, that's
shut
hilarious.
up, man. I'm like, you're right though. You're totally right. Ah, you know. And I remember sitting in like the little deputy station out there, and I felt like this one guy just kept looking at me. He just like kept looking in my direction, and we're catching eyes. And I'm like, dude, what's wrong with this guy? He looked kind of mad, like he was like flexing up and stuff. And so I looked at him again, and all of a sudden he like turns. He's like, "Stop effing looking at me, mother effer!" And just like goes off on me, right? And I'm like, "What do you do?" Like everybody in the whole place is now watching this situation. It's like my first day, and I like stand up and I like start walking towards him. He's like, "Let's go!" And he's like bowing up, and he just looks crazy. And I look like Paul Blart, like there's nothing.
I don't
I'm
even
not
know.
intimidating.
Yeah.
Like, am I gonna sit on this guy? Like, I don't know. I've never really even been in a fight. What I'm saying? Like, that's not me. I don't have that bone in my body. I
Right.
just have a lot of fat, but not a lot of bone. And like my trainer was like, "Hey man, calm down." He got this guy to like chill out and calm down. The guy like apologizing, said like his girlfriend like just broke up with him on the phone, and he just felt like I was staring at him too much. And it's like, oh okay, yeah. I was like, hey, it's my first day, dude. I'm sorry, I'm kind of scary. I just don't. You just look like you're going kind of angry. He's like, well, I
Yeah.
was. I'm like, all right.
Yeah, get it.
And I
Don't.
realized like you don't need to just be staring at people for no reason. Like just so it just honestly like it wasn't for me. And at the end of the day, like my like I had this crazy shift where there's this naked crazy guy, and he was like ripping up his mattress and trying to stuff it down the toilet and flood his cell. And that happened to be where I worked that day. And so we had to like go in and do what they call like a cell extraction. So there's like three of us lined up on the door to like get this dude. The dude like would refuse to shower for like 2 weeks.
Oh hell no.
So when the door like opened, it was like the most god awful, putrid, like worse than when you leave a protein shake in your trunk for 6 weeks
That's
smell during the summertime. It
horrifying.
was like
Wow, that's bad.
just just human cheese. Just a waft of human cheese just hit me as we opened the door. They're like, Kyle, you got legs. I'm like, no, you got legs. And we went,
But really, what's like the best body part to get in that situation? They're all pretty bad.
oh, yeah, they're all bad. And so I like, took him down and he's naked. And luckily, like he like surrendered right as we went in.
uh,
So I didn't have to like jump on his pelvic region or anything, have to change my clothes.
yeah, that's how I was kind
But I think that day it was like maybe a few weeks into me launching. We could talk more about this, but me
of,
deciding to launch this like recipe ebook and being
yeah,
like maybe 6 months into like actually like posting like weight loss transformation videos. Like I was already down like 50 pounds or so at this
yeah.
time.
Okay.
And I made more that day with my recipe ebook than my shift. And I was like, still had the smell on my mustache of that room. And I went home. I told my wife, like, hey, we made more doing this than me working. Like, why don't I just take a risk and I just quit my
Go
job
for it.
and like just
Yeah.
focus on this like influencer thing? And she said, yeah. So
And you,
that was 20. I think what was that? That was like the end of 2021.
damn. How long have you been making videos then? Did you start making videos and like doing social media stuff like when you were starting your weight loss journey? Or like I guess what made you started on the front end?
Yeah, I think it was like 2020. I started making just like random like TikTok videos, like trying to be funny. If there's some back there, if you go way back, there's some original ones where I'm just like, it's just cringe talk, dude. It's like the worst stuff you've ever seen in your life. Like if you want to have a good laugh and just be like, how did this guy ever even make it in life as anything? Go watch those videos. But I actually got like maybe, I don't know, like 30, 40,000 followers making random dumb videos.
That's dope. That's a
And
testament to
then
you. That sounds like you could do a little like some comedy stuff or something, bro. I feel like you could do a little something else.
I could put a little something on it. Like it had nothing to do. I don't even like I had no niche. I had zero niche. I
Just
didn't know anything
random
about a niche,
shit you
right?
thought was funny. You're like, all right, making a video.
Random junk. So some like cop stuff, some like I don't know. It's bad. But yeah, I think I started posting like me trying to do workouts and do weight loss stuff, post a little bit of that. And then basically I didn't post for a season because I got like banned or something, like one of those algorithm things where I went from like getting like 10,000 views on some of my videos to like it would get like 100 views or like 80 views.
Worse.
And then
That's
I'd check, it wouldn't even go to For You page. And I'm like, oh gosh, I guess I'm like shadow banned, whatever. So I didn't post anything for like a year until I like lost my weight. And so I lost my weight and threw this video up, and it probably got like between like 50 to 100,000 views. I'm like, I'm back, baby. Like,
yeah.
man, TikTok forgot about banning me. I'm here. And
Yeah.
so I just kept man, just kept at it. So That was pretty early on. And then people were just asking questions like, well, how did you do it? Like I'm a regular dad too. Like, how'd you do it? Oh man, I cooked some food. They're like, show me some food videos.
Yeah,
Okay, I'll show you some food videos. I had a broken iPhone 8. Like the camera was kind of cracked and I was too poor to get a different one.
yeah.
And so in some of those early videos, it has weird lighting because the camera is broken.
Oh, that's hilarious. That's funny. Uh,
Yeah.
that's cool as hell. And I had no idea. I think I started seeing your videos like beginning of 2022 is when I started seeing them a lot, a lot. Uh,
Mm.
what at what point were you, or did it like start to, was it like that day when you were working where you're like, damn, I could like do this like full time and like make like quality money with it? Or like, I guess what was your thought process like going into making videos? Was it like solely because you like enjoyed it, wanted to share, wanted to help people? I guess what was like your mindset at that point?
Yeah, man. You know, I need to look back and when I actually posted this recipe ebook, but it was pretty much like my friends at work were seeing me bring to work like double cheeseburgers and stuff and like pizza, and they're like, dude, how are you doing this and losing weight? Like you look great. Like people like if you work different shifts or you're on different teams, you sometimes won't run into someone for like 3 or 4 months
Yeah,
on another team. Like so, like a deputy like saw me one time. He's like, dude, you literally look like a brand new person. This is crazy.
that's
And I
all.
would show him what I'm eating, and he's like, dude, he's like, give me a recipe. Like, show me how to do that. You should make a book. And so pretty much I put together like 10 of my favorite ones just for like my friends. And then a bunch of people on social media were like, dude, you should post that. You should post a recipe ebook, like so that we can have it too.
Right.
And so I think the initial book was like 10 recipes and like it was like $5 or something or 10 like something like really cheap.
Yeah.
And people like were buying it. I remember like the first day I posted it, I think I made like $150 or something.
That's
And I was
dope.
like, what? Like 10 people bought this? Like this digital file on the internet? Like what the heck's going
Yeah.
on here? Like this is so weird. And so that kind of got like my engines churning. And even like maybe 6 months to maybe a year before that, I was reading a book called like the 8 Hour Work Week. And it was just showing like different ways how to expand like different streams of income. And I remember like sitting down with a deputy who was getting ready to retire. He was like in his 60s and he'd done this like his whole life, was in the jail like his whole life.
Yeah.
And he's like 5 more years and I can finally get my pension. And I was like, well, how much is that pension? And I don't want to say what it was, but it was
Right.
like not very good.
Yeah.
And I thought to myself, wait, you were here in this jail at more than these people that like did crimes. And
Yeah.
that's all you're going to get, and you all your good years are gone and you're going to live like 10, 15 more years and then you're dead. Like I was like, I can't do that. Like I
Yeah.
literally like, put so much fear on me like that. I'm like, that's not for me. And God bless anyone who decides that they want to serve. And man, that's the most honorable thing to do. I would say just do it in a department that pays better. But by all means, man, it's amazing. But for me, I was like, dude, I can't. I have to get out of this situation. I gotta live a different life, and I want to live my best years now. I want to see my children grow up. I want to go on vacations with them. I want to, have more financial freedom. And it's so weird to me. Like I didn't really take anything I learned from that 8 Hour Work Week book. I didn't learn anything from it except for reading and kind of casting vision for myself that someone was living this life and maybe I could live a life like that too. Like that's all I really took from it. And then it was so weird to think, 6 months later I was doing it without even like connecting the two.
Yeah, it's crazy too. Like when you start to have a vision of what you want and like have an idea of like what life could be and like actually see what's possible. I think that's been like biggest things for me too, because I always like wanted to live in a different city, travel, do different stuff. Early in my 20s, like 23, 24, I was working a finance job and I was just like going into the office every single day, living in Columbus. And I
Mm.
was like, I don't want to do this my entire life. Like I want more freedom, even if I'm like just being able to like barely like just pay my bills and like go to Chipotle and get like extra chicken. Like that's like a win in life for me. If I could like do fitness and then like travel a little bit and like pay my bills. I was like, if that's like a
Yeah.
life for me at that point. And like same kind of thing. I was like, I just want to have more flexibility and more time to like actually enjoy the things that I want to in life. And so
It's awesome.
yeah, cool. That kind of similar story with that. Um, and then I guess what's been kind of like the evolution of business and social media since getting started and like since then, like I guess did you like then start to think more of yourself as a business and like kind of take it not more serious but like be more intentional with how you went about like the business side of it too?
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I was using a platform called Koji. that was a fairly new platform to sell like my digital media off of. And I sat down with like the CEO and some of the people of that company. We had a Zoom meeting. And I kind of told them my goals, and my goals at the time, this is like before I quit my job, was just to make what I'm making at the sheriff's department. Like if I can just do that and then kind of buy my freedom to like see my family, like I'm cool with that.
Right.
And I remember the CEO was like, dude, he's like, no, he's like, that's peanuts, bro. He's like, you can do like 3 times that, 5 times that, whatever.
Yeah.
Like, yes. And so that was kind of like when I started, man, the wheels started turning. I go, man, I believe this guy. And I
Yeah.
thought at the time I was putting like 5 hours a week into this thing. And I said, man, I'm working 40 to 50. If I can just like put 30 to 40 into this thing instead,
Yeah.
like exponentially it should grow like just by putting more time, more effort, more videos, more content out. That it should happen, and the guy was right, and it was true. So things just started moving, and I remember at the time, like this is back in, I think it was still in like late 21 when I first like put it out.
Yeah.
um there wasn't like a lot of guys doing like a digital recipe ebook.
Yeah.
Like I was like, even though mine wasn't great when I first started it, it was just like it was only 10 or 12 recipes. I just wanted to basically make it. And if people bought in, they get unlimited updates. I can just keep giving them
That's
the updates more and more and more. And that was the model that I wanted. Like you buy once and then I'll just keep giving it to you. And
yeah.
I'll keep reaching out. We keep winning, more people to this low calorie, high protein lifestyle.
Yeah.
And that's the model. And it just kept growing. So now we're at 110 recipes in the book, which is pretty cool,
Damn.
and hoping to get past 200 this year.
That's
So
dope, bro. That's cool as hell. And then do you have like a community with those people as well? Like where you're like giving them updates, or I guess how does that side of it work too?
yeah, I so with Koji, every month I basically just take down the old one and put the new one in, upload it, and then people can just go back to the website and hit restore purchase. And most of the time it works. Sometimes it doesn't, which gets kind of, you get kind of upset, and you get
Yeah.
some emails, and it gets a little crazy sometimes.
Yeah.
Um, the other one I use now is called PayHip, and I think that's what the majority of like digital file, you know, salespeople use is PayHip now. And that one's a little, I like it because I can once a month basically just send the email, and it's all in the profile. I just basically just send the new one out, and it's all connected with all my previous customers. It goes right to them. So that always works. It goes to their spam usually, but it's there.
They know it's coming.
Um,
Yeah. They know it's coming.
yeah, so that's kind of how I stay connected with them. I just ended up starting a Facebook page, so it's like a separate Facebook than my Instagram. You can connect the two, you probably know that, but instead I just completely kept them separate. I post the videos separate, and it's cool because I'm creating two different communities, and they have totally different needs, and it's fun
Yeah.
to comment and connect with all of them. Yeah.
Yeah, I've heard that too. I've heard just from like a social media side of things, like Facebook Reels are like their own entity compared to Instagram. Like that's what I saw something about that. But no, that's dope. That's cool as hell.
Yeah, it's kind of like I like it's basically triple dipping. So since my Instagram's separate than Facebook, I still have my Instagram connected to Facebook Reels.
Right.
And so when I post, it'll go to Instagram plus Reels, and then I go over to my Facebook page and post that same video again,
That's
and then
dope.
it goes through that cycle as well. So it gives me like a triple front, and then you have TikTok as well. And it seems
Yeah.
to be um, Facebook is trying so hard to compete with TikTok, and so is Instagram.
Yeah.
So you probably noticed a lot of Instagram growth. It's a great time still to get in and post reels. Probably 6 months ago was like definitely like the grace, like a big grace period for that.
Yeah.
But still,
Yeah, like set eight like April to like July of last year for me was like when I had like a like insane amount of growth.
was that nuts? Like I don't
It,
know what happened. I think they just opened it up. The algorithm was just open.
it was crazy. Yeah, like I was at beginning of 2021 or 2022 on Instagram. I was at like 24,000 followers, and then in a matter of like by June, I was at like 100,000. Like it was just like blew up. It was crazy.
Yeah, I got used to that growth. I was like, dude, I'm like hitting like 20,000 followers a week, that kind of a growth
Yeah.
in that season. And I jumped up to like probably, I don't know, somewhere like 275 or 280 on Instagram.
Yeah.
And then since then, now it's been back to like a normal,
Yeah,
maybe I'm hitting
exactly.
like 1,000 followers every few days, every 4 days or 5 days or something.
Still great. It's still awesome.
Yeah, still great. I'm just like, you get used to that trajectory. You're like, it's gonna keep going this way. And then TikTok just seems so random to me. Like I was stuck in the 400s forever. I
Yeah.
posted one video on January 1st that was like my story of like how I lost weight and how I got into like doing this full time as an influencer and just thanking everybody. And that video just went psycho and it actually didn't get, I mean, it got 300,000 views, but there's certain videos that people will follow you more than other videos. If I do a recipe video and it gets, let's say, 300,000 views, that
Yeah.
might yield me maybe 500 followers.
Right.
But if I do like a lifestyle video of like my transformation and my story, and it connects with the heartstrings of people, that like that one video that got 300,000 views netted me like 20,000 followers. So it's so weird. It's so random.
Yeah, that makes sense too, because people like to see themselves in others. And if they like see, if they can be inspired by your story and what you did, I feel like they're gonna be like, oh yeah, like it's a great person to follow. I think that makes a lot of sense. That's
Right.
dope.
Yeah.
And then for your videos, like how do you come up with so many different recipes and ideas, and like what's kind of like your methodology of coming up with videos? Because obviously like you got to come up with new stuff on a pretty regular basis, and just with it, so that's an understatement. And then just with like the recipes that you put and give to like your customers too, and like having that recipe book, like one, how do you come up with ideas, and then also like how do you determine like what's a recipe book worthy recipe meal at that point?
Yeah, man, that's it's a hard one. There's a little bit of a process there. I feel like there's so many of us doing this now. You
Mhm.
want to try so hard not to accidentally copy each other because like there's sometimes I'll put out a video the same day that someone else puts out, like Stealth or somebody like that, and it's like, oh my gosh, it's so similar. We post it within like an hour of each other,
Yeah.
or Nikita Fairlife, like what, like it's so similar. So it's really just like, hey, we're all in this together. Like we all got in this to help people. So yes, maybe it does feel a little bit like competitive at times, but it's a good thing because it should be making us better. It should be making us more creative. But I like I've been thinking about making a joke recipe and just being like, hey, this is like a macaroni and cheese, buffalo, turkey, meatball, pesto, ranch sandwich. Like, cause it's like we just keep like making it more and more and more complicated to
Yeah.
where we're almost like defeating
The
like
purpose.
the purpose of what we're doing, like making this simple for people.
Yeah.
So I think that's what it's all about. Like how crazy can I make this pasta to be like everything? It's got tzatziki sauce, it's a Greek yogurt, Philly cheesesteak. Like I
Right.
don't know, dude. Everything's buffalo sauce. So silly. But so for me, my process is I'm always on like Pinterest. A lot of times I like to watch like recipes from like Tasty or some of these really, really big pages
Makes sense.
that are just making like the big kid version of that food, just like the 10,000 calorie version of whatever that is.
Right.
So I like to get inspiration from out a lot of times of like, okay, what's already being made? I don't have to reinvent the wheel. And then my whole thing since the beginning is taking really good tasty meals and then converting them to low calorie, high protein. So that's a majority of the time is just like, okay, here's some inspiration and how do I make this low calorie, high protein? And then I'll like write it in my notes. Anytime I have an idea, I'll just write it down. And a lot of times I would say like 50% is inspiration from watching these videos and these Pinterest stuff and then breaking it down into like low calorie, high protein. And the other 50 is like literally just get a random thought. I'm like, man, what this would be kind of weird if I did this. And I'll just write it in my notes. And then I'll play with the calories on like my MyFitnessPal app and see what that would come out to if I made something like that.
Yeah.
And then it goes from there. So typically I'll write down like 10 a week, just thoughts, and then I break that down into like 3 or 4 recipes. And
Got
then
it.
I cook like 2 or 3 of those.
Got it. Do you have experience with cooking before this? Like were you like actively cooking on a regular basis before weight loss transformation journey? Like are you a yeah, what's the deal with that?
Yeah, no, I don't. I wasn't. I have no training with food and cooking kind of whatsoever. I was only good at like breakfast, so my wife would let me make breakfast, and that was basically it. So I was in a way starting from fresh. I knew how to barbecue a little bit on the grill outside, but like nothing like what I'm doing now. So it just I had a love for food, and it matched like this thing I want to do to help people and continue to help myself. And the more I did it, just like man, the better I got at it. And then I just kind of continued to work it to now where I feel like, man, just something that would have taken me like 3 hours to make like a year ago, I can make something in 30 minutes.
Right.
Just by getting better at this stuff.
Yeah,
So
absolutely. Absolutely. That's cool. So, and then when you're shooting your content, is there So two different things. When you're shooting your content, like how long does it take to make a video? Because I feel like you do like different, you have different angles with it and everything. Like how long does it take to
Yeah.
make a video?
For sure. So it always depends on like what recipe I'm making. If there's like a dough involved where I gotta like do something from scratch or whatever, that's gonna be a little bit longer. But like my average video, to shoot it and cook it and take that final bite and make that shot is
Yeah,
typically like 30 minutes or less.
it's not bad. Damn, that's good.
Yeah. A lot
Nice.
of times I have like I only have one, iPhone. I've got the 14 Pro right now, which is amazing.
Yeah.
And then I have like two different stands
Okay.
for the iPhone. And I set them up in two different locations, like one next to like where I'm cooking, and then one for like my counter shot. And then I have like, I'll show you right now. I've got like these different uplights
Ooh, yeah.
that I put in the kitchen as well, and have those positioned. So it's a lot more of a seamless process now. It's like, okay, the camera just goes to here, then I put it back here.
That makes
Um, and I try to like save the raw meat stuff for like the end of the video, so I'm not having to like wash my hands and then press play and wash my hands because I don't want to get my phone yucky or touch.
sense.
There's just little systems I figured out. So there's been like I've had some videos that I've literally spent like 2 hours on. And I spent like 3 hours editing and so much time and lighting and make everything perfect, and that video gets like 5,000 views or something. And then I've had times where I put like 20 minutes into making a video and then 30 minutes on editing, put
Goes
it
fast.
out, and it gets like, yeah, 2 million views. So, so I don't fully understand it.
It's funny in that way. It's funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
I feel that too. I'll just have a random idea and make a quick video of me talking about a topic, and one of those videos ends up getting like hundreds of thousands of views. Whereas one, I'm like, damn, this is like one of the ones. Like this one's gonna go crazy. I feel like it's on TikTok.
Nothing.
Damn.
Yeah. Yeah.
What is? Do you have a time where you just had like an epic fail when you're trying to make a meal and it just turned out horrifically?
Hmm. Like something I just didn't like the taste of it or whatever, like at the end of the day, or just, I'm trying to think. There's been times when I know I've like burnt food. Like I've definitely burnt like stuff, like trying to make like one of those like egg omelets with the tortilla all in
Ooh,
one pan and you flip it. Like I've definitely like burned the crap out of some stuff doing that. But nothing like a total epic fail. It's more like as I'm cooking, I'm different than my other, influencer buddies that do the same thing. I'm like the only one of us I think that's married with kids that are kind of in the same like hemisphere. And
yeah.
so when I'm cooking recipes, I should just one time just post, I think for fun, post just with natural sound, like what I'm dealing with while I'm cooking these recipes. Literally, it's like sounds like a war zone. I've got a 6-year-old boy and a 3-year-old. The 3-year-old's bigger than the 6-year, almost the same size as him. He's a Viking. He's a monster. He's
Wow.
not sensitive at all, and he's a bully. And then my 6-year-old's super sensitive, just wants to play video games and talk about science. And so my 3-year-old just like beats him up, like in the other room. And so I've got like screaming bloody murder in the background. And my wife trying to deal with it, trying to get the kids calmed down. And then her like, Kyle, you need to pause your recipe and come over here now. Like there's some like I should just post one of these recipe videos to show like what
100,000%. That would be the funniest thing to hear. That would be amazing.
what it sounds like. And my wife asking me questions about, hey, we should get this at groceries, and hey, I was looking at this car, we should buy it. Like while I'm trying to, and I'm always like, or like a lot of times we'll be like, hey, guys, quiet. I'm right in the middle of this. Can you guys just like go away for a second, please? Like
Minutes.
I have these moments, like it would be pretty real. It'd be pretty raw,
I think people would absolutely love that too. Because I mean, when
Yeah.
you have kids, you have a family, that's how it is.
Yeah, how it really sounds when I make a Tasty Shreds video.
Yeah.
Nothing added, just me dealing with just animals, And then sometimes they'll come through. They're not allowed to come in the kitchen when I'm cooking a rescue video. So I get them a snack beforehand, put it on the table, have them like ready to go. But sometimes they don't listen, and they'll because they're kids. They'll
Right.
run through each other, and they've knocked down my lighting before. They've knocked down my iPhone, and knocked my food off the counter. Like there's just that's mostly what it's about, is just having to deal with like cooking while having a family and like
Yeah.
making the stuff.
Yeah. That's awesome. I love that. Has it been tough to like balance out business, social media with having a family, or has it been like easier because you have like more time in a sense and you're at home more?
Yeah, man, way easier. It's been honestly the best thing that's ever happened to me, in my life is, being able to have this freedom that I've been given. For me, it's like not even really about the money. I could be making way less than what I'm making right now. and be okay. Just because I have like the freedom that I wake up in the morning, I get my coffee, I go sit with my 6-year-old, get him ready for school. I get to take him to school, walk him to his class. He goes like a nice little private Christian school, he's got his little polo on, and I get to pick him up every day after the gym. Like I just love that, like these little moments in life. I'm so fortunate, so blessed to have them. And my dad was in law enforcement for 30 years, and like he didn't get to have those with me.
Right.
He worked overnight shifts. He was stressed all the time, and dealing with homicides, and one of his partners got taken out, and like he was a real one, had to deal with all that stuff and raise a family. And so I know what it's like on the other side, and to have the life that I'm living right now. And I don't know how long this will go. Like, I'm just like happy that I have it right now. And I just pray that I can continue the trajectory, keep blessing people, keep changing lives. But for me, it's like, man, it's just the freedom to see my wife every day, take her on a date, take the kids out to dinner whenever we want. It's just
Yeah.
like, I could never have dreamed of this life that I'm having right now. I got to like wake up and give myself a little pinch occasionally, because it's amazing. The balance is perfect.
That's
So
amazing. That makes
yeah.
my heart so happy hearing that. That was like one of the most like heartwarming things I've heard for a long time, man. That's awesome. Seriously.
Yeah.
And that's what it's all about too. It's like obviously,
Yeah.
making money, more money, whatever is great and kind of it allows you to do different things, but it is like the freedom to be able to spend time and do the things you want to do with the people you love. Like that's what it's ultimately about. So
Yeah.
it's
Yeah. It's
awesome.
such a blessing. We're going to not to brag, but we're going to Hawaii next
Oh,
month. Oh, in March 2nd through the 12th. So
let's go. What area?
we're gonna go to the Big Island, going to Kona.
Okay.
And we've been there a couple times, but I haven't gone since I've started this kind of influencer journey. So I
Yeah.
just put a little, just put a little money away on the side, and just feel like it's just a way to connect with the family and have a little reward. 10 days of just shutting some stuff down. But I still will be filming. I'm gonna film like Hawaii style food, low calorie, high protein while I'm on site. We rented I got a good deal on like a little condo. So we're just gonna go to the grocery store, and I'm gonna cook every day and make some stuff. I don't know what
Yeah.
yet, but we're gonna get there.
That's cool
Some
as hell,
poke
man.
or
That's
something. I
a
don't know.
nice little flair to the content too. I feel like that could almost be like a possible series as well that you guys do, like go on vacation and then everywhere you go, it's like food that's like specific to that area, but like a low calorie, high protein version of it. That'd be dope.
Yeah, I like that. And I do want to this year like bring my family. Like in the past, I've kind of kept them out of it,
Mhm.
but I kind of want to bring them a little bit more into what I do, um, just because I want to show that it's possible to eat this way with a family.
For sure.
And even future ideas is maybe even make a recipe ebook that's like family focused, that's high protein, low calorie. So it's not just like me eating by myself these
Yeah.
meals. My kids are eating chicken nuggets, but like finding things that like they like to eat as well.
Yeah.
And my wife's on a weight loss journey. She just wants to lose like 10 pounds. Like it's not a journey. She got like a 3 weeks and she'll be there, but kind of bring her more into it too. So
Yeah. And I kind of going back to the point of what you said about like the video and you're recording it, how there's all that stuff going on. I think that's super relatable too. And people, love that. And I think just it's kind of like what we said too about like seeing is believing it. So if someone sees you doing that, then they're gonna be like, oh yeah, like then I can, get on track with fitness and have these like healthier meals, high protein, lower calorie meals, while still having family and all this stuff going on as well. So I think that would be amazing. I think all that stuff sounds great. And
yeah.
then this, I guess, just like with business and your page, and I know you just said a couple of different things that you want to work on with the social media side of things. Like, where do you want to take it? What's like ideal situation for you?
Yeah, I think the next step would definitely be getting into some kind of a physical product. I think that's the next place to go with it.
Mhm.
I love helping people. I love the digital cookbook thing, and I'm going to continue that and keep that thing going. But I do feel like getting into the physical product game is a big deal. And if you see, a lot of big social media guys right now, think of like Logan Paul and some of these guys. They got that prime drink.
Mhm.
Mr. Beast got his Mr. Beast chocolate bars, and then he has his Mr. Beast burgers that go to all these different locations. Um, a lot of them that are bigger aren't going necessarily for, hey, let me make ads for companies, and get paid by companies to make these ads. There's an end game to that, because if something goes wrong with your social media, if you get sort of canceled in a way or something goes wrong, like those ads go away, right? Or if
Yeah.
your views go down, like those companies quit calling, right?
Right.
But if you can get your own product out that people can attach to, it's another way for them to say, hey man, you're awesome, and I like following your journey in this next phase of life. But it's also how to, like, I want to get stuff that I make in the kitchen a little bit more out to the public.
Yeah.
So I've got a couple ideas in the works for that. I don't know if we're gonna get it off the ground this year. I really want to.
Yeah.
One of them would just be like some of my sauces that I make. Would be so cool to have some of those sauces, man, bottled up, refrigerated, and you could throw it on your food. Like, it's just another way to like keep people encouraged to eat, high protein, low calorie, and hit those
Yeah.
goals. So
That's
that's like
amazing.
the next phase I want to go into, and then focus a little bit more on getting some YouTube stuff going
Yeah.
this year.
That makes sense. I love that. I love that. That's I agree. I think so many of these companies like pay influencers, for ads and that kind of stuff, when really you can be your own company and like start your own products. Like you are the company itself. Like you are the business. And I think a lot of
Right.
people in the social media space like don't necessarily realize that. I think when they first start, like that the pull and value you bring to the table, like you can start your own business and like do it and have all these different products where, like you said, it's your own brand that can live on without you being as in depth as you have to be day to day with social media too. So I think long
Yeah,
it's obviously a great play there as well.
for sure. I mean, if we just took like 10 of the influencers that do fitness, TikTok, cooking, just took 10 guys and we said, hey, let's launch a protein bar. And we
Yeah.
made it like a TikTok, like Instagram protein bar with like all your favorite influencers on it. We all dove in, and dude, it would kill it if
It would
every
go
one of us
crazy.
were like, yeah, it
It
would
would,
go it would go nuts. But instead
yeah.
we're over here selling, Built bars or whatever. Nothing against them, but I mean, it is what it is, making
Yeah.
pennies.
I think that about that a lot too. Like I just with like supplement side of things, like anything like that. I literally think like, what if like three, four people like had their own supplement company and we started like, started that, like it would go crazy.
Oh,
Um,
for sure.
so I hear you. Shit, we should start something then. I feel like that would be like a fun thing to start, bro. I don't even know what it would
Oh,
be, but yeah, protein bars or I don't know, like you said, like different products. I think everyone, it could be like one company, but then every single influencer has like their own kind of like unique thing. That could be like a sauce or like a candy bar,
yeah.
or protein bar, something like that. That would
I
be
think I got it. I think I just came up with it. Have you seen those videos? I've seen some people at the gym. They get these drinks that look like Kool-Aid, but they're really high in protein. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're
like
like,
the juice type of stuff, but it's like high protein, like
yeah,
juice type of stuff.
yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
something like that. But if we just got just like they probably already have them, but like a powder mix, like a little strip that has the powder in it, and you just throw that in and mix it in with your water. That's instead of like a
Crystal Light, it's protein, the protein version.
yeah, protein Crystal
Bro,
Light. Because not
that would
everybody wants chocolate milk. You
at
know what I
all.
mean? Not everybody wants that.
Yeah, that's actually a genius idea.
That would kill, bro. Okay,
That
so
would.
just everybody listening, that's me and Pat's.
Yeah, if
It's
we get the
Pat,
trademark.
Pat, It's been
Yeah.
Pat.
No, I'm dead serious. That actually would go crazy because I hear that a lot. I'm sure you do too, where it's like all these protein powders and shakes and everything are like they are very like desserty and like chocolatey and all that kind of stuff. A little rich.
Yeah. You think of it, it's kind of like liquid IV, but like liquid protein. Liquid protein, dog.
Bro, I'm dead serious. That's a great idea. That's
That is
we
sick.
got we got to talk offline. That's a great.
Okay, we'll talk offline and get into that. There's so many people taking notes right now. Like,
Yeah, no doubt. I know. Maybe they won't listen this far in the podcast, and then we'll just like launch it and be like, "Ha, y'all could have, or y'all could have done it before we did." But
we got to get Calvin. Calvin, you're
Calvin's
probably
my
not listening
guy.
to this, Calvin. Yeah,
Yeah,
get Calvin involved.
Calvin.
Calvin's awesome.
Calvin's the man. I did a podcast with him last week, and then I'm going to LA here in a couple weeks. I'm going to link up with him when I go out there. So that'll be
Awesome.
Eric Roberts. He's the man. I don't know if you follow him, but he that's feel like that's something he would be into. Yeah, there's like a nice little handful, like 5, 10, 15 people. I think we could get on board.
Yeah, Liquid Gains. Kind of
Liquid
play off
Games.
Gains by Pat.
Yeah,
Liquid Gains.
yeah,
Oh, dude.
that's a good one.
I,
Damn,
lo-
we
I
got
like
something
that.
cooking here. We got something cooking. No pun intended. Uh,
It'd be so cheap too. That'd be pretty cheap to start up, I would imagine.
yeah, for sure, bro. I'm like dead
Like
serious. That's a phenomenal idea.
Liquid Gains.
I love it.
Liquid Gains, dude.
I
It kind of
love
plays off your name. I love
it.
that.
Yeah, that's dope. Trying to think what I was gonna ask next. You have a brother that does country music, correct?
Yeah, yeah. Nate Smith
Yeah,
is
yeah,
the
yeah.
bro.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I saw you post about that, and then a girl that I know, she posted a TikTok with one of his songs like yesterday or a couple of days ago, and I was like, oh shit, I'm like about to talk to his brother like tomorrow.
Yeah, it's pretty crazy, dude. It's like so he was number one on the country charts in Canada for like 5 weeks, like broke a record. And then right now, I believe he's number three on the US country charts for his song Whiskey on You. So his life completely changed. And he's on the same label as like Luke Combs and some
Wow.
of these guys. So his life has completely changed. And what's nuts is like it sort of happened for both of us, like at the same time. He's like my best friend. We were both involved in the campfire that happened in Paradise, California, like 4 years ago, where like our whole town burned down, like my house burned down, his house burned down. Like
Wow.
I was a youth pastor at the time. Our church burned down. Like just life basically started over, and we just kind of like felt hopeful. It was like this weird like hopefulness, like something good, might come out of this thing. Like I don't know when or how, but something might. And for him, he just wrote a song about the fire, about his town, and that song kind of like blew up just kind of locally. And then he launched a song on TikTok called Wildfire that was about love, and that song went viral. And he basically like just on a whim moved to Nashville just in hopes of like man making it right. And
Yeah.
within 2 months of being there, that Wildfire song went like, I don't know, just millions and millions of views on TikTok. Everybody was duetting it. It was going absolutely nuts. And then Chief Tickman or Chief Zaruk, the agents of like Nickelback and Bailey Zimmerman and stuff, like reached out to my brother and like signed him, and then got him signed to like Sony. Like really, like he was there 2 months. Like usually it takes like 10 years. He was there 2 months because of the social media thing, and then bam, got signed. And now he's going on tour with Thomas Rhett this next let's see, a few months from now. He's got like a 30 show tour with them.
That's
So
insane.
he's just killing it. Got a hit song. He went gold with that song. So
Wow. That's
um
insane, man.
yeah, so we're both coming up at the same time. Like I did a video where I brought him, I don't know if you saw it. I brought him a pizza bagel. Like I made it at my house and like flew it all the way to him and then gave it to him at the Grand Ole Opry. It
That's
was just kind of cool. And it's a good write off. So we we did it.
that's perfect.
Yeah.
That's a good
Yeah.
right off. What do you guys talk about that about like how you both have came up and like have grown a lot in the last like couple of years? Like, what's y'all's conversation in regards to?
Yeah, dude. Yeah, dude. It's great. We talk about it all the time. Like he called me last night just to talk about it. He was having dinner with who was it? Randy Goodman. He's the CEO of like Sony, and so they're having dinner together. And he said something to Nate, like give him some kind of business advice. And he said the best business people are just curious. Like they don't just crap on stuff like, oh, TikTok's stupid. I'll never do TikTok.
Yeah.
They get curious. Well, why are people so excited about TikTok? Why are people getting so excited about doing Instagram Reels? Why is being an influencer the number one job in the world right now for people? Why? Having a curious mindset instead of like a judgy, just shut everything down.
Right.
And my brother called me and was like telling me what Randy said. And he's like, and I just instantly like I started talking about you to Randy. He's like that you were just like this curious guy, like maybe this could work. And you're sitting at work, not loving the job that you're working. And now here you are at the house. I can call you. I know you're going to be home, and you're just putting your kids to bed, and you're just living this life, and you're living this dream. You're driving the truck you want. Just stuff like that. It's like um, we talk about it all the time. Like we get teared up. Like I remember the time he called me to let me know he signed a record deal, and I couldn't even talk, dude. I just like cried through the whole thing because like growing up, it's like we never thought we were like he was gonna be like I knew he was good, but to actually make it is another thing.
Right.
And just to be so happy like for your best friend, somebody that is like such a kind-hearted, good person, like that like he's gonna do well with it and he deserves it. Like it just means all the world to me to see him do that and to see him on stage and see him in his element. And we're just like the Smith boys are blessed. No one really thought the Smith boys were going to do much. Like coming from our town, like these guys aren't going to do a lot. They have a lot of fun, but they're not going to do a lot of other things. And it's really cool.
Yeah, that's amazing. I mean, just from our conversation just today, like you definitely are like one of the better people that I've had a chance to talk to. Like you just your energy, like, you can tell you're just like a great like human being person. Um,
Oh,
and I think that goes a long way, man. Like when your intentions are pure and you're a good person, I think that carries over and follow makes other things happen in life, super positive things happen. But that is
yeah.
unreal just hearing about that with him, like his journey, his come up and everything.
Yeah, he's wild. He's got like a famous girlfriend right now. I can't say who it is. It's on the it's on the. I'll tell you after. I'll
All right,
text
all
you.
right, all right. Yeah,
It's
good for him.
quiet. It's
Yo,
quiet right now.
he's living.
He is just living, dude. He's so funny. He gets all this free, boots, and everywhere he goes, he just gets free stuff from companies. And we're big Niner fans. Who do you like? Who's your football team?
The
Cleveland? Do you
Bengals.
like
Bengals.
the Bengals? Okay.
I'm from Ohio.
We grew up in like Northern California, so we're big, Niner guys and stuff. And he doesn't know much about the Niners. Like I grew up loving football, playing it, and he grew up playing guitar and being like, what's football, right? But
Yeah.
he went to some party with John Party and a couple of these country guys in Nashville, and they're all Niner fans. So he threw on like a Niner hoodie or whatever, and the Niners Instagram saw that he's a fan. So they're like, hey, what jerseys would you like? Just want to send him free stuff. What tickets to what game? Would it's just he gets the hookup.
Yeah.
And so he actually called me. He's like, hey, I don't want to sound like an idiot. He's like, what jersey should I ask for? And I
Yeah.
was like, well, definitely pick Richard Sherman. He's a great quarterback. He's the best quarterback ever. I'm just wanted to screw him over. No, I gave him good names, um, but yeah, man, he's just living it up, dude. He's having a great time.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's cool. So,
Yeah.
no, yeah, I gotta listen to the songs now. I'm not normally a huge country guy, but I'm like, my dad grew up listening to country a lot, so I'd listen to it with him, and I listen to it when I clean my apartment. Like that's like it's good like
Oh, nice.
music for me. So I gotta check it out. I gotta check him out.
It's some working music, huh?
Yeah, 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 for sure. It gets me in the right mood, in the right feel to get some stuff done. Uh,
Heck yeah, dude. We grew up with a little bit of country, Garth Brooks, that kind of stuff with my
yeah,
parents. But we were like into like rap, and my brother was actually into like emo rock, like in high school, and so we just kind of been all over the place with music. And when he wrote that song for Paradise, we've always told him, dude, you have such a good voice for country. Like he could do anything. He could be a boy band voice, whatever he wants to do, like grunge rock. Like he just has that skill set. Um, but it's cool when someone finally locks into like that's what their voice is supposed to be doing is
yeah.
country. So
That's dope. That is cool. Yeah, I'm
yeah.
definitely gonna check it out then. And yeah, I think when you're talented, at some point it's gonna break. You're gonna keep trying different stuff enough until you figure out, the best way for people to hear it, the best way to spread all that kind of stuff. So that's dope.
Yeah, dude. Heck yeah. I tried out for his band in high school. He had like a rock band and stuff. And they needed a screamer. Like remember when that was a thing? When it's like you have like a emo singing, but someone would like be like a separate guy in the band. Like what he would just scream. Do you remember that
I
music?
do. I do.
Okay.
One, how did it go? And two, were you just like practicing around the house, or you had to like do that in your car or shower?
Yeah,
You
dude.
had to practice.
Yeah, I was just practice, in the shower. I wasn't singing Brian McKnight. I was just like, yeah, well, that's that. Like just trying to like make this sound a certain way. And I got like pretty decent at it. And so
That was pretty good.
he would do like the emo simple plan. He'd be like, my girlfriend's gone and do that whole like voice. And then I just be like, it just sounded awful. And they liked it. And they actually were going to keep me on. But I think I was playing football or something. Didn't have time for it. And I didn't want to lose my reputation or something,
I was gonna say, yeah, I don't know how that would go over playing football too, but I think just from that little snippet we got was pretty impressive. I don't know.
It's still there. It's still there,
I
dude.
heard
Still there.
that was exquisite.
How old are you?
29.
29. Okay, yeah. So you lived in some of that emo scene
Yeah,
era,
yeah. Early on, I was still there a little bit. When
like elementary.
yeah, yeah, very early on. How old are you now? 34, 35?
I'm 35, bro. I'll be 36 in April.
Damn. How is that too? Kind of going back to social media a little bit. How is that like at your age? Not that you're old by any means, but I feel like for most people they'd be like kind of thrown off like trying to do social media at a certain point in time.
I think it's just like I've always been like pretty young spirited. I think I always will be in my life. And then I was a youth pastor from when I was like 27 to like 32. So like a lot of like my junior high, senior high kids that I would like hang out with, disciple, they'd come to like our house for like Bible study and stuff. I would hear about everything going on in culture. Like they would keep me in. Like I remember the first time a kid said, "Oh, that's fire." I'm like, "What the heck does that? Why are you saying that? It sounds so stupid." But
Yeah.
like I would learn from like just things that they would do, and so I've always been that way where I've kind of like kept up with like what's going on like culturally, try to stay somewhat like relevant. So like I just enjoy like current events, current things that are happening in life. So I'm always staying like true to that. But I think the main thing is just um, being young spirited, having a young attitude, now having small children that I kick it with all the time, play video games and switch
Yeah.
with. Like I'm always like I'm not. I feel like you get old if you let yourself get old. It's like you get fat if you let yourself get fat. Like it's like
$1,000%.
it's like a mindset, you know. If you're grumpy in life and you're not enjoying yourself, it's like you're gonna start getting a little old acting.
Yeah.
So no matter how old I look out here, I feel like in here like I'm always gonna be 25
Yeah.
and just having fun. So I mean at times it feels a little challenging, but like some of my weaknesses with social media, I feel like also in a way can be some of my strengths. So it's like I may not have the time that these younger guys have because they're not married and they're just young and you know they've got six packs and they're just doing their thing and going traveling and doing stuff like that. But like the fact that I have a family and that's a huge aspect. And there's a huge chunk of people that are on social media that are really missed because they can't really relate with the 21-year-old physique guy, but
For
they can
sure.
relate with me that's still kind of dad bodish and weighs, you know, 210, you know, it's like they can kind of relate with that, you
Yeah,
know?
yeah, absolutely, absolutely. Yeah, I think in the fitness area, that is a lot of what you see, and I think that is a rarity. And almost to your point, it's a positive in a lot of ways because people see themselves in you. And I feel like when you have somewhat like other stuff going on that you want to put your time towards, like your kids, family, wife, uh, I feel like you probably have to be more intentional, like with what you're doing with social media as well. I know, like sometimes for me, like I'm not married, I don't have kids, anything like that. So sometimes like getting stuff done, I'm like, oh, I have the whole day to do like get all this stuff done. And then it ends up taking the whole day. When in reality, if like I had like hard cutoff times with stuff, like it would probably get done quicker because I'd be more intentional with it a little bit. So
Yeah, for sure. I do have to like, you know, have a schedule because of, you know, the fact that I've got my family, we got pickup times, I got workout times. So I do have a certain schedule with my day to make things work and they try to help work around that schedule. I've
yeah,
got days of the week that I film, you know, days of the week that I'm just editing. And then on the weekends, besides posting stories, I'm not supposed to cook, make any new content, whatever. And my kid, you know, has a 4-day weekend. His private school is only 3 days a week, which is amazing.
yeah,
So pretty much from like Friday through like mid Monday, I don't make anything new. So I can just focus on my family. So I'll post stories and do stuff like that and respond to emails, but like mostly I'm all in on my family.
yeah.
So
That's amazing. I love that. And it's
yeah.
definitely necessary to have a schedule like that. Yeah, that's amazing, man. I love it. Well, sounds good. Well, I feel like we'll probably have to do another podcast. There's other stuff that I want to ask, but I won't keep you too long. I know we got other stuff to do, but this was phenomenal, man. I
Yeah.
had no idea about just your background, like just trajectory of like different careers and how you got into this and like family side of it. Like this is I'm like, I don't know, blown away is the right word, but obviously you only see like snippets of someone on social media, but like actually getting a chance to have a conversation. I'm like, damn, like you're one of the coolest, like best dudes I've like talked to.
Dude, I appreciate that, man. It's
Yeah.
awesome. I've really enjoyed this. It was great to finally, you know, get to meet you and we'll do some off the cuff podcasting in the future for sure.
Yeah,
Heck yeah.
definitely have to. Definitely have to. Well, sounds good, man. Well, where can people reach you? What's like where it's like Instagram, website, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah. So it's Tasty Shreds, just how it's spelled. Not the cat food. It's just low calorie, high protein. You can find me on Instagram doing that. And then on TikTok, it's Tasty Shreds, but with a Z at the end because I need to buy that person's page. Just haven't reached out to them. Facebook, it's just Kyle Smith. So I'm just the regular old Kyle Smith on Facebook. You can look me up there. And PayHip, my ebooks on everything, so you can check it out. Enjoy it, love it, comment, and follow Gains by Pat. Man, stay tuned. He's got some good stuff for you.
Yeah, for sure. Well, I appreciate it, man. Definitely check out Kyle's page, and his videos are amazing. You will love the recipes. And yeah, I appreciate you, man. Thank you so much. And yeah, definitely love to do another podcast again a little down the road. And obviously we'll be in communication with everything. So thank you again, man, so much.
Thanks, brother.
Yep, much love.